Topping today's news, King Charles III diagnosed with cancer. The Bahamas and the United States extend the agreement for pre-clearance at the Lynden Pendling International Airport. The government continues with demolition of unregulated structures, and the country suffers another weekend marred by crime and violence. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jarino Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News, and it is a pleasure to have you join us. Reports out of London today that King Charles III has been diagnosed with a form of cancer, according to Buckingham Palace. It is not prostate cancer, but was discovered during his recent treatment for an enlarged prostate. The type of cancer has not been revealed, but according to a palace statement, the king began regular treatment on Monday. Buckingham Palace says the king remains positive about his treatment and looks forward to returning to full public duty as soon as possible. The king, now 75 years old, will postpone his public engagements. No further details are being shared on the stage of cancer or the prognosis. We do expect a statement from the Office of the Governor General here in the Bahamas at some stage during the week, as they too look to gather more information. The United States Customs and Border Protection Agency is extending its 50-year pre-clearance agreement with the Bahamas. Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell and the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Acting Assistant Commissioner Diane Sabatino signed the official agreement that will help with smoother travel for Bahamians and U.S. citizens departing the Lynden Pendling International Airport. Despite the U.S. State Department's recent travel advisory to the Bahamas, Sabatino says the extension of the pre-clearance agreement highlights the United States' long-standing relationship with the Bahamas, as well as Customs and Border Protection's commitment to ensuring security for both countries.
Really, this renewed agreement marks the opportunity for us to consider expanded opportunities, further reinforce the partnerships that we have here with you in the Bahamas, and really look for ways to enhance that economic prosperity while ensuring secure and safe travel back and forth between the Bahamas and the U.S. So thank you for your commitment to that. Pre-clearance operations, it opens an additional gateway to the United States to increase capacity and really maximize the use of aircrafts and gate utilization. So very critical for us on both sides of the operations. And for travelers, it leads to that enhanced streamlined passenger processing. And this new agreement really represents a modernized operational framework to
Minister Mitchell highlighted the significance of the agreement's renewal, pointing to its history dating back to 1974.
Because it was on the 24th of April of 1974, which is 9 months after the Bahamas became an independent nation, that the 1974 pre-clearance agreement was signed. It's an achievement for both countries. The 74 agreement eases the flow of persons between the Bahamas and the United States and creates a higher level of security for the two countries. 50 years later, it brings me great pride to sign the renewal of the pre-clearance 74 agreement that my predecessor, he was then called the Minister of External Affairs, Paul Adderley. As we sign this agreement, the government and people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas renew its commitment to further strengthening our relations, security, and ease of access for both countries. And I'm happy to be Paul Adderley's successor in particular in doing this.
The Bahamas remains one of 6 countries with the United States Customs and Border Protection pre-clearance, allowing travelers to bypass Customs and Border Protection and Transportation Security Administration inspections upon arriving in the United States. The government continues with demolition exercises today with focus on the unregulated community known as Area 52, located off Coral Harbor Road here in New Providence. Building Control Officer Craig Delancey spoke with reporters as the exercises proceeded and provided an update as it relates to the work on the Unregulated Communities Task Force.
Well, we are carrying out the demolition of some of the unregulated construction in the communities. We've issued notice to them over a month ago requesting them to either demolish the buildings themselves, or if they don't, then we will. And so we're at that point now where we are demolishing the buildings. It shouldn't be longer than a week, less than a week. In this community here, it's just over 70 buildings or structures, mainly timber construction.
Do you know how many individuals were living in these homes?
I would say over 100 plus, because some buildings had 4 to 6, 8 persons in them.
As former residents looked on while approximately 7 makeshift structures were destroyed, Mr. Delancey was asked if workers experienced any issues from residents, to which he responded with this.
So far, it's been fairly smooth. We haven't had any issues. Well, I mean, we've been dealing with this operation from last year, September, so some persons are aware that we were going to come through and carry out the demolition process. And so some persons have made alternate arrangements for their living accommodations.
In the previous 2 demolitions, shortly after there were fires, is there a fear that another instance of that would happen?
Well, we don't really have that fear. It's possible, but if the contractor gets to destroy most of the buildings today, then there shouldn't be an issue.
Before today's demolition exercise, 400 eviction notices were issued to residents of 3 shanty towns on Abaco, including the Gully, the Gaza, and the Farm. That's in Treasure Key, Abaco. Building Control Officer Delancey told a local daily yesterday that there are other areas on Abaco where officials will inspect as well. It is expected that the demolition operation on Abaco will be one of the largest shanty town demolition exercises in the country's history, with Andros, Grand Bahama, and Eleuthera also on the agenda. The Minister of Labor and Public Service, Pia Glover-Roll, gave an update on the long-standing disagreement during negotiations between the hotel union and workers and the Bahamas Hotel and Restaurant Employers Association. Minister Glover-Roll on today says she is ensuring that both sides have a clear understanding.
Well, we hope to bring balance. We're approaching it from a neutral standpoint. As a mediator, the Department of Labor has stepped in to assist, because the parties involved, the employer being Atlantis, the union, have come to this impasse. So we are doing what the Department of Labor does. We're lending our support as mediators. Techniques are ensuring that both sides understand, because in some instances it's a matter of the way that it is determined. A matter is determined by one side as opposed to the other in terms of understanding how this amelioration needs to happen. You know, the hotel union is looking for a percentage to be added to, in particular, the tipped categories. The employer is feeling that they've already done a portion of that. That's not what the hotel union is accepting. So it's just a matter of understanding.
Minister Glover-Roll says she is hopeful that as negotiations continue this week, both parties, they find common ground.
Hopefully this week. We can't say until both parties come back to the table this week, but hopefully this week. And I'm saying hopefully because of the employees. We want them to get what they deserve. The hotel, of course, is thinking that they're giving them what they deserve. The union is saying that's not quite it. So I'm hopeful that it will be this week, though, because we were this close. The union and the hotel were very close to signing an agreement, and it's just this one point that we need to get passed, and we'll be at a place of signing.
Minister Glover-Roll states that the ministry wants to ensure that the employees are not disenfranchised and that they are able to dissolve this matter. And finally, in this segment, the country has suffered its 23rd murder after a male was shot and killed early this morning in the area of Providence Avenue off Boyd Road. This follows 2 murders over the weekend. On Sunday morning, shortly after 7 a.m., a man was reportedly shot and killed while driving his vehicle in the area of Matthews Street, Nassau Village. Then on Saturday, a man believed to be in his early 30s was shot to death while in the St. Andrews Beach area of Yamacraw. There were also several shootings that have left a number of victims with serious injuries. 2 men, ages 33 and 19 years old, were shot while on Quarry Mission Road, that's off Nassau Street. The 33-year-old victim was in critical condition, while the 19-year-old in stable condition at last reports. Also, a 55-year-old male was shot Sunday while in the Yellow Elder Gardens area. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.